Welcome to all of you in my channel Geography Ki Pathshala. I hope that you all are doing well. So in my last video class I discussed with the exercise question answer of chapter 3 of class 12, which is population composition, and today's video is the continuation portion with the exercise questions from part 3. So let's start with today's discussion. So the first question which is given over here is that describe the rural urban composition of the population. So first we have to know that there is a necessity of the difference between rural and urban population, because you can see that rural and urban lifestyle, they differs from each other. You can say in terms of livelihood, see over here, in terms of livelihood, and also you can say in other social conditions also. You can differentiate the rural and urban population and their way of living their life. And the second point which I have mentioned over here is the occupational structure, density of population, and also level of development, which also you can see that it varies between rural and urban population. And the third point, you can see that generally in rural areas, their majority of the population, they are associated with their primary activities. Primary activities means you can say the agricultural activity, fishing activities, these are known as primary activities. On the other hand, in urban area, you will see that major population, they are associated with the secondary sectors or the tertiary sectors. So secondary sector or secondary activities means the manufacturing industry, and tertiary activities or tertiary sector means the service industry. Now if we look after another point, which is the sex composition, then there also you will see that the sex composition of rural and urban population, that varies between the developed and developing countries. In developed nations like the Western European nations, there you can see that due to security and availability of job, generally women, they move out towards the urban area, and men, they tend to stay in the rural areas as the farming is mostly mechanized. So they look after the farming activities. But in the developing nation, like you can take the example of a country which is India, here you can see the completely different scenario. So in our country or in other country like India, which is a developing nation, there we will see that female population, they are staying in the rural areas and they are looking after the farming activities, and the main population of that rural area, they are moving out towards the urban area for the better opportunity of jobs, or you can say that for the better opportunity of their livelihood. So we have completed our discussion regarding the first question. Now let's see our second question. So the second question is given that discuss the factors responsible for imbalances in the sex age found in different part of the world and occupational structure. So here also you can see that I have mentioned some points, and through those points I will discuss the answer. So the first point, you can see that I have mentioned about the working population. So if you remember my class regarding this topic, then you can remember that the working population, it is from the age group of what, 15 to 59. So here I have written it in a bracket that 15 to 59, this is the working population, and this population takes part in various occupations. That can be agriculture, it can be forestry, fishing, manufacturing, construction, transport, services, and also some other unclassified services. So the workforce, this workforce, it clearly indicates that what is the level of development of that country. So level of development means it is particularly indicating towards the economic and social development. In developed economy, only the countries where their economy is quite good or their economy is quite developed, there you can see that the industries and infrastructure facility is also very good in those countries, and they can provide more workers in the secondary and quaternary sectors. And on the other hand, the countries where their economy is not that much developed, so there you will see the opposite scenario, that they are unable to provide more workers in the secondary and quaternary sectors. There you will see that the main population, the working population, they are maximum they are engaged with the primary activities or primary sector of activities, and this kind of scenario is seen in the developing countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, because their economy is not that much developed. There are some other factors also, like the age structure. So the age structure of a country, it also indicates the level of development. That if there is a large working population, that means you will see that there is a progress of the nation. But if there is a large dependent population means the children and the retired population. So if the number of children and the retired population is higher than the working population, that means they are depending on the working population and they are burden on the economy of the country, and that's why the development also slows down of that country. And the another factor, which is sex composition. So sex composition, which I told in the previous question answer also, that sex composition, you can see that in developed nation, there due to security, due to job opportunity, women, they generally move out to the urban areas from rural area, and the men, they generally stay in the rural area and look after the farming activities. Whereas in the developing nations like our country India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, in the other developing countries, there we will see that due to the job opportunities, men, they move out from rural area to urban area, and women, for their security, they live in the rural areas, and they generally look after the primary activities like agriculture and others. So today I am ending over here, and I hope that today's discussion regarding this question's answer is easy to you and also helpful to all of you. So basically today I have tried to chalk out some points to frame your answer properly, so that it's easy and at the same time it is helpful to you also. So now it's your turn to frame your answer properly based on the points which I have discussed today. And if you have any kind of doubt or any query regarding today's discussion, then please comment below. Till then, stay tuned, stay happy and stay safe. Thank you.